Good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful morning, and I hope you have a beautiful day. You know, you can always tell what a woman was wearing during her pregnancy. You see it in her children. When we were little, I prayed for a little sister, and I received one. At 11 years old, I had a little sister. Beautiful, beautiful baby. She's always had a sadness to her. And sometimes this goes back to what I was saying about postpartum depression. You know, as children, you pick up things, you learn things while growing up. You learn the things that are going on in your surroundings, especially when adults are talking amongst the children. A lot of information comes through. So, as it goes, I was about 12 years old. My little sister was maybe 13 even. My little sister was sitting and she was very sad. I picked her up and I said, "What's the matter?" She said, "I don't have a mommy." I said, "What do you mean?" Where is she? I said, "She's just gone for a little bit. She'll be back." So as time went by, same sad face, the same talks. I said, "Well, I don't have a mommy." I said, "Yes, you do." She said, "Well, can I call you mommy?" And I said, "You can call me Mommy L for now." And we carried on as that until my stepmother came back. We were children at the time. But one thing for sure, we never had to worry about the fragrance of a wet diaper. I always made sure she was taken care of. Sometimes people wonder, they say things like, you've never been a mother before. How do you know? How do you relate? Sometimes people will say certain things and they don't really know what it is that they're talking about. You can't fake a title. You wear it. And when I say you wear it, I've always introduced myself in a classroom full of children. And the children will turn around and call me Ma all the time. It's because I wear it. The Empress wears her crown. When you are growing into what God wants you to be, you don't always have to know it. Sometimes people know it before you do. It's because there's something within you. God gives us all, When you're walking amongst the trees, there was a storm the other night. And in the morning, I got up and I removed the twigs and all these extra pieces around the tree and on the tree. You don't have to call it a tree for it to become a tree, do you? We are all what God wants us to be, or we're becoming that. We're all going through our own transitions. And while we might not understand what that means or what that is, God does. And we're walking in that transition. We don't always have the same friends. Like you might grow up among certain friends and they become family. You might meet certain people who become like family, All these different things occur because this is a transition that we're going through. I might not always smile when I'm on this setting because I am expressing myself. I'm giving you information. Don't get caught up in the emotion. Don't get caught up in the expression. We're all growing into what it is that we are to be. I love my siblings. I love all of my family. And while growing and knowing certain things, we're all growing in different settings. We're all learning. And sometimes that might not seem as though it is what your impression of it should be. It is God's impression. We are all here for a purpose. No one is here by mistake. We're all growing into what it is that we are truly going to be. There's going to be certain emotions. There's going to be certain impressions. But just to know that throughout this journey, we are all becoming what we are to be. These storms, there's a reason for these storms. You know, I had a speak the other day, a talk, and so many people showed up and listened. Some people had questions. We don't know what tomorrow brings, and that's for a purpose as well. You couldn't have told me that yesterday or the day before that today would be as it is. Now, certain people say certain things. Certain people sequester certain things to occur in their lives. But it is by divine purpose that things fall into the places that they fall. Some people say they don't know me anymore. That might be the case. We all changed in our transitions. While going through these transitions, we are becoming what God wants us to become. I stayed away for a little bit. I have to make sure that I am in touch and in balance with myself before I can become who I am supposed to become before that date. Meaning, we're all transitioning. And while doing so, God is carrying us through. We're not going to always be around the same people. God will separate us so that we can learn. Sometimes when we're around certain individuals, we listen to their impressions instead of our own. We take their advice before we take our own. People can say all sorts of things, make up all kinds of stories. A lot of this is envy. You know, I started off talking about my younger sister. Because of certain things, because of certain ways in which people behave in your presence while growing up, sometimes people can harness their thoughts within you, meaning they can hold their thoughts within you because they shared certain thoughts. And you take them on and you assume that those are the right thoughts. You assume certain things about certain people. You are supposed to separate yourself from the crowd. Figure out what you feel, what you know to be the truth. If you don't know, ask God. But by no uncertain terms should you take what everyone else is saying and allow it to bleed in to you. We are all growing and knowing. We're all coming of age. And if we're not, we are about to. We are all supposed to be coming into the divine light and energy. Now, to some, that might sound crazy. Maybe if I spoke to someone in the church, they might say, what exactly are you saying? What I'm saying is that God is giving us direction. And while He's giving us this direction, we are awakening to the truth. Some of us have been fed lies all our lives, and we thought it to be the truth. A wise man once said, every man thinks they know something, but they might in the end know nothing until the truth permeates into existence. That might not be the way he said it, but I'm putting it into that term because that is the way that I took it in. Okay? So, it is so important that as we are growing, we are asking for direction. We're asking that God give us the truth, you know? Sometimes we make certain promises, and when we make the promise, our intentions are good, but the promise is not carried out because other things occur. Perhaps that is why. That is what God's impression of it was. Perhaps that's what God wanted it to be. Perhaps This is the true existence of what God wants from you, from me, from us. We are all evolving, or soon to evolve into who it is that we are supposed to be. I'm moving the camera around a bit because I don't want to put other people in the picture, because of course we are not supposed to do that, right? So I'm trying to do that. Make sure that you're getting the message, the necessary message that it was said to come out today, okay? When children are growing up, we see certain things that they do. As they grow older, some of those things they continue to do. That's why it's not hard for me to figure out who the person is who might be copycatting, or one of the individuals anyway, and who the person is who has tried to steal my identity. It's not hard for me to know, because that person has been trying to harness in my energy as well. I'm not going to give attention where it is not needed. The laws will take care of the laws. God will take care of all of it. I don't need to be worried about things. Now, early on, I was very worried. And I made it, completely clear, even on this setting. But now I've given it to God, and I found myself growing by doing just that. God had it all along. It's not that I had to give it. What I had to do is release it from myself, not allowing things to bother me. This channel is meant for growth, and people are watching my growth. I might be observing others' growth in my surroundings. The important thing is that we are growing. There's so much information that I have to give, but it's amazing. I can't give it all in one setting. And sometimes my mind goes into different directions of what I want to say. And sometimes it's not that time just yet, The library is supposed to be giving out free solar glasses today for those individuals who would like to see, different things going on up in the sky. Because you're not supposed to look up there with your plain eyes. You're supposed to protect your eyes. So I'm sure everyone will go to the library and pick theirs up, the solar glasses. Important thing is that we are getting out, and that we are making the necessary connections. I love very deeply, and I can't help it, and I'm not going to try to change that. I can love a person that's close to me, and I can love a person at a distance. There's so much. A man approached me recently and asked me for my father's telephone number. A Muslim man. Now, we've had conversations, I thought we were just developing a friendship, but I don't know how the conversation got as deep as it did, but when a Muslim man asks for your father's telephone number, you know what that means. I don't even have words, because I don't even know what to say at this point. But needless to say, we're all growing, and there's a time for everything, right? A time to live, a time to die, a time to grow, and we're all growing here, Needless to say, I could not give that telephone number, because we all know that everything is not what it once was. And we also know that when you meet your father, I know that God is my father. Thank you so much, guys. I know that I might seem at a distance today. So much stuff going on. But The message that I wanted to leave you with today is that we should be tapping in and asking God for the truth instead of always looking outside of ourselves for the truth. Because people will tell you their form of the truth, and it's not necessarily always what it is supposed to be. It's not necessarily the truth. But as I said, when you're growing up, you've been told that this is your mother, this is your father, this is your cousin, this is your whomever. In your heart of heart, you know the truth. And in knowing the truth and in learning what the truth actually is, God placed you where you were, not by mistake. Whether you were supposed to give answers or whether you were supposed to help in connecting others, nothing is a mistake. You can always hold those pictures of the past, hold those impressions of others, and grow. You know, love all of your siblings, even if you find that some are not, you know. My little brother was always the prince. In my heart, he will always be our prince. Because when he was born, he was so sweet. I know that my stepmother was in love when she had him, because he exudes it. You feel it when you're in his energy, and he is beautiful. You know, it's important that we learn from each other, and even if we are not in those individuals' presence, you can love them from a distance, but always take the lesson and see it as just that, a lesson, and grow from it, because that's what we are here to do. Listen, love, learn, and grow. That's been my word. Thank you so much for joining us here at Indigo Moon. You have a good one.